6 Haunting Stories Below the Antarctic Circle. 1. Jenny, the ghost ship that sails forever. The schooner Jenny left port in 1823. She disappeared with all her crew aboard. A few years later, Jenny was discovered by a whaling ship. Apparently, she'd become trapped in the ice. The entire crew was frozen solid. According to the legend, they discovered a captain's journal. The last entry read,
May 4, 1823. No food for 71 days. I am the only one left alive.
2. The ill-fated tour to Ross Island. Antarctica became a tourist destination in the 1970s. Tourists booked day-trip flights from New Zealand. They would enjoy aerial views of the icy continent. But one such trip turned fatal due to low visibility. The plane crashed into the side of Mount Erebus at 300 miles per hour. None of the 257 passengers survived. The bodies were stored at McMurdo Station. Some researchers at the station claimed to hear their ghosts. They described voices, strange chills, and unexplained footsteps. 3. Robert Falcon Scott, the would-be pioneer. The British explorer wanted to be the first to reach the South Pole. In 1911, Scott and his team set out on the Terra Nova expedition. They set up camp at the edge of the Great Ice Barrier. Some men stayed in the hut they built. The rest of the team ventured onward, but arrival reached the pole about a month before Scott's team. In 1912, Scott and his team of 4 men turned back. They all died on their way back to the hut. Frostbite, gangrene, and starvation did them in. Scott's hut still stands. A notebook belonging to the surgeon was found in 2013. All the pages had frozen solid. 4. The world's loneliest linen statue. It was December 1959. A Soviet expedition ventured into the heart of Antarctica. The continent is not perfectly symmetrical, so its heart is not the South Pole. It's a point known as the Pole of Inaccessibility. The Soviets set up camp and erected a linen statue, but the conditions were so harsh, they decided to leave. Very few people have been there since, but those who have took pictures. The Soviet camp is now completely buried under ice. Only the statue is still visible, thanks to its high pedestal. 5. Deception Island, an abandoned whaling station. Deception Island once housed an old whaler's station. Whale bones still litter the beach. The station was abandoned during the Great Depression. It briefly served as a British base during World War II. The station still stands. There are huge rusty containers used to boil whale fat. Deception Island is supposedly haunted. 6. Shackleton's Hut, a haunted cabin. Edmund Hillary was a New Zealand mountaineer. He's famous for climbing Everest in 1953. 5 years later, Hillary explored Antarctica. He happened upon Ernest Shackleton's abandoned hut. Shackleton himself passed away in 1922. In the hut, Hillary believed he saw Shackleton's ghost.
I'm not a person who really sees things very much, but when I opened the door, I distinctly saw Shackleton walking towards me and welcoming me.
The hut still sits on the cliffs of Ross Island.